Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club, but for movies. This week, it's a True Git showdown with the Duke versus the Dude. Which one is better? You'll find out. We also bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week, we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and a strange dude in the lower left-hand corner, Ryan Preston. This week was Ryan's pick, and he picked both True Grits. One made in 2010, the other one made in 1969. So it's the Duke versus the Dude, as we said in the opening. So, Ryan, what are these movies about?
Okay, well, both of them follow the exact same plot, pretty much exactly. They're both based off of the novel, whose author I cannot recall off the top of my head. They both center around a young girl, Maddie Ross, whose father was killed by a man, Tom Chaney, and then she goes out after him to Fort Smith, I believe it was, and hires U.S. Marshal Rooster Cogburn.
Yep.
And then they go out and try to find Tom Chaney. That's basically the summary of it. One obviously starring John Wayne, kind of later on in his Western career, and then the other, Jeff Bridges, who
I think it was towards the end, wasn't it?
I don't think he's really done.
John Wayne died in 1978, 1980, so I think it was 10 years before the end of his career. Because The Shootist, which was John Wayne's very last movie, if I remember correctly, was like 78.
Okay. Oh, okay. So
I meant towards the end of his Western career.
Yeah.
But this I think was the only one that earned John Wayne an Academy Award. After X amount of years doing millions of Western movies. At a time when they were churning out probably 50 or 60 a year.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, please.
I was going to say I'll jump in right here. This is the first time seeing either of them.
Oh really? Okay.
So I did kind of a typical compare and contrast, the difference between the two that I saw. Mm-hmm. One thing that, and I thought I did the major scenes, the things that stuck out between both movies. And one of them was the court scene in the 2010 was different. The first thing they introduced was the state's lawyer or whatever. It was a really fat guy you couldn't understand. At least I couldn't.
Right.
And everything else in that was literally the same, almost verbatim. They used the same lines,
Right.
Well, I go backwards when I back up type of thing.
Yeah, same jokes. Yeah,
it doesn't do any good if it ain't, loaded and cocked.
Yeah, the same exact lines, which I wasn't really expecting. In all honesty, I figured they would tweak it just, for modern audiences, but a lot of these scenes are exactly the same, which I was really surprised.
Do you think it's lack of writing, or is it kind of a nod to just really fantastic, story writing in the first place?
I actually, I'll let John go.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a couple of different things. I think it's a difference between maybe they wanted to stay true to the book and stay true to the movie, so there's not a lot of deviation, I think, there. And
right.
I think
I haven't seen the book, so that could be right along with what goes on there.
And this is still a little bit of family friendliness in here, so I'm assuming it still sticks with that.
Well, and as what I recall, it was right before the John Wayne was right before the Wild Bunch, Sam Peckinpah's movie, which kind of changed, the way people looked at westerns with the whole kind of blood and gore aspect. People getting, there was a lot of buckets of blood.
Yeah.
Peckinpah's movies.
So, but before that,
it wasn't really like that before.
Yeah, before that they did that. They did the focus on the gun. The next scene, the guy's holding the wound type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Never saw any wounds. It was always the dust kind of blowing off the guy's shoulder.
Or the bullet catches.
Or you saw, or you might have seen a stain of something after the shot.
Yeah, right.
The other thing I noticed that I thought was interesting is there was no introduction of the father. The first one in 1969 gave you a little bit of the father to show how much she cared, the little bit of fatherly, how she loves the interaction.
Right.
This one just goes straight, and he killed my father,
Right. Yeah. She has a little bit of narration, but it seemed to kind of roll through the first 20 minutes of the movie, of the 69 movie, real quick, like maybe in about 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, they skipped a lot of the very introduction, I thought.
There also was a couple scenes added in the later one. So, I think they decided that with how much of her complaining and whining and all that stuff about her dad being killed would show. how much she really cared about her dad.
True.
I kind of thought that's why they did that, but
and they had kind of a going back and telling the story from her older perspective kind of thing, going. So I mean, it was kind of just like, hey, this is what happened. This is where the story started, kind of right when she got to Fort Smith.
I think it's just it's the different style of storytelling.
Yeah,
and that's what it comes down to. The other one I thought was interesting is the Buff, played by Matt Damon in the new one, and Glenn Campbell.
LaBeouf.
Glenn Campbell in the old one.
LaBeouf.
Is the scene where they smoke him out of the house. He doesn't show up. I mean, he's off and on. In the old one, they're chasing through the Indian territory. In the first one, he's always there.
Yeah.
And by the way, to comment, Glenn Campbell sucked in that movie.
Yeah.
He was there was a monotone acting job.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was very okay. This is how I read my dialogue, kind of stuff.
And Matt Damon, I think, copied him exactly because I thought this was the worst job I've seen him in ever.
First Western I think he's ever been in it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
I think it is. I mean, I'd have to look it up, but I'm about 99% certain it is.
And the other one, the one thing I thought was a major departure from the original was the relationship between Maddie and what's his name, Rooster
Cogburn.
Cogburn. Because I wrote it down differently. That relationship is completely different. Towards the end of the 1969 one, there was I don't know how you describe it. Almost like a love relationship.
It was kind of like more like a brother or uncle type of thing.
Yeah. And
rather than the crush that Maddie has in the late one.
Oh yeah, and the late one, she hardcore crushed on him, and he didn't care. He just said, "I'm done with you," and went off to drink.
I wouldn't say so much about that, but actually, from what I've read as far as history goes of the actual Rooster Cogburn, he would have been a more of like later chick. I'm gonna go drink. That's kind of what it seems like in the way that history portrays him.
And the last point I have is I'm actually surprised how much the plot points are similar. Between two movies, 1969 and 2010, I honestly thought that this type of slow-paced storytelling was dead in Hollywood, especially to have an ability to actually keep you interested scene to scene.
Yeah. Well, I think Coen brothers sort of proved they could do that with No Country.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a great movie. We're going to definitely have to put that on my list. Yeah. So I was impressed that the two movies are dead similar, I think, but the new one has more of the new school gritty storytelling, where the old one still has the mythical Old West style.
Right.
And I think that the main difference though between the Duke and the Dude is John Wayne really, he was the same personality but just turned up more.
Yeah.
And is it Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, it's not a copy of of John Wayne's. I don't know quite where like the mix of it was.
Okay.
But I thought it was of John Wayne-esque.
Well, I think it was his version of that. I mean, somebody like it was the dude in the Western.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like who loved to drink. I loved Jeff Bridges' take on Rooster, dude. It was to me much more, broad than sort of just kind of like I have the code of the West, but I kind of like to drink, but I'm going to take you under my wing, and then like you said, they ended up really developing that relationship, whereas it was kind of one-sided on Rooster's side, or on Maddie's side, because Rooster was just like, all I really wanted to do was be left alone so I could drink. That's it. And this is sort of a prospect that kind of gets me to, like feel like a Marshall still, and then gets me money so I can drink some more.
I thought the newer one was more true to life, actually.
It was disinterest on his part in the 2010 version.
Yeah,
they kind of sold it to me.
Okay, yeah, I got you there.
And then and the old one, it was much more like like you said, like the kind of the uncle or the father-daughter kind of relationship.
I was gonna say brother-sister type relationship.
I don't know. I mean, he sort of had that. Probably just kind of a ball-busting uncle would be the best way.
Yeah. Or a way older brother.
Yeah. So go ahead. What else you got, Ryan?
Well, let's see.
Were you done?
Yeah, I was finished.
I wanted to point out the difference between kind of the there was a little more of the subtle comedy in the Coen brothers version, which they're kind of notorious for throwing in just these little smirk kind of moments. Like the hanging scene was obviously much longer in the Coen brothers version. The two guys,
well, except for the Indian speech.
The Indian starts talking, and they just immediately put the bag over his head, indicative of the times, and just kind of just like, oh wow, that's kind of dark, but dark funny, you know. And,
yeah.
Well, they sing an Amazing Grace in the first one.
Really
yes, they did sing Amazing Grace in this, and the other one, and then oh gosh,
they did something different, I thought, in the newer one, but I don't remember.
Which scene?
The scene where they were hanging. The crowd was singing a song in the first one. Well,
Amazing
they were...
Grace, and then the Coen brothers was
what were they singing? Coen brothers.
Lean.
I don't remember.
Anyway,
Don't
by the
start
everlasting water or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But the whole scene I thought was hilarious.
Yeah,
they were singing Amazing Grace.
The court scene was much more. We'll see. What the point I wanted to make was the characters in the Coen brothers seem to be much more colorful and broad and big, and you know,
there's more development there.
The lawyer for the prosecution was so damn funny. I can't think of the actor's name, but I've seen him in a ton of things. Great character actor, but it was hysterical. I thought Jeff Bridges' character was much more deep and kind of had a lot more going on sort of behind the eyes than John Wayne's, like you said, sort of an exaggerated version of the character he's been used to playing. And then the chick that played Maddie Ross in this one, who I think was actually 14.
Yeah. Yes, she actually is.
I think
I actually looked her up.
So damn good. I mean, played the part like only a 14-year-old could think to play that part. You couldn't get somebody older and have them say, hey, act like a 14. They would think, okay, how did I used to do this when I was 14? And they would fuck it up pretty royal.
Yeah, they would make it a little exaggerated.
Right, but she had this kind of like she was really smart, so she had a little bit of arrogance, but then she still had that kind of childlike sort of like oh, I think I got myself in too far in a couple of moments, but then still kind of headstrong. And
yeah.
It was a great portrayal of that character. Sounded damn near exactly like the 1969 version. I don't know. I kind of closed my eyes when I was watching the John Wayne, and it sounded very, very similar as far as the syntax and dialogue delivery.
So I was going to ask you, what was your favorite scene? Because my favorite scene in the entire movie is when she was trying to sell the horses back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In both movies, that scene was really, 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 truly well written. Slightly different in the Coen brothers as far as, you know, the words used, but the premise and the points that she was making were exactly the same in '69 as they were in 2010. You know, I want the horse. Here's the $300 for the ponies. You know, or whatever the price was, and oh man, it was a great little negotiation. And then, okay, the last guy I wanted to bring up was the guy in the bear suit.
What was
that guy?
That was the most random scene in the entire movie. I loved it.
One of my favorite scenes. When he asked if either of them needed medical attention, I almost fucking pissed myself, man.
No, see, my favorite part of that whole conversation is I've already taken his teeth. I will humor an offer for the rest of him. I'm like, what are you gonna do with the body?
The spectrum of characters that the Coen brothers can kind of just like, here's this situation, but then here's this little bit of relief, just kind of randomly, but you know. Always sort of following the story, never taking up too much time, but you're always just kind of like, what's going on here? And then the little turn of him coming through just killed me. I love that shit.
I love there was no explanation for the hanging dude. They just introduced him and that's it. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not know this man.
Yeah. Talk about a hard introduction. It's like,
I just like the fact that he sends her up the tree to cut it down. Like, why aren't you up here doing this? Because I don't climb trees very well.
And when she did cut him down, her face when the tree started flexing back up, it's like, uh-oh.
Why'd they hang him so high? Probably because they think it'd make him more deader.
Oh man, oh yeah.
It's like you're actually talking to somebody that young, and you don't want to answer all their questions, so you just give them some smart ass answer.
No idea how to be around, you know, teenagers or young people. He's really foreign to the idea. And, you know, LaBeef has his completely different, like, this is how you know, like whip a child kind of thing. But he's got a little bit of respect for her. Like, as much as he doesn't want to admit, it's always kind of there, which is shown in the John Wayne one is, kind of pretty immediately. Like, he warms to her pretty quick.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there was one scene where the first time, or the only time I think in the new one where she was getting spanked, there was a scene that she was close enough, she could have actually grabbed his gun. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for, but that I was let down on that.
Well, okay, as far as I'm concerned on these two movies, as like I said to John, is the way that they did this movie, the 2010 version, was pretty much an homage to the 1969 version. That's the way I look at it. And John, who had never seen them, we watched the John Wayne one first, which I've seen both of them before. And John was asking me, like, so what's the difference in between these movies? And I'm like, well, the really only difference in between these two movies is some scenes are during the day, some scenes are at night. There's a slight addition of a scene here. There's not a part of a scene here and there. And it's really like if you've seen one of them, you've seen the other one. You just haven't seen it done by these actors.
Right.
Which is pretty crazy, because generally when Hollywood does a remake, it's either sarcastic or completely different.
Yeah.
Not almost verbatim.
The thing
this one, I think the Coen brothers realized here's a movie that not a lot of people are familiar with. We have a chance to kind of, probably was one of their favorite movies. That's usually how those kinds of things works. And the Coen brothers have enough pull to be able to do that. And then they just made it like, let's remake True Grit. And, obviously this one enjoyed a hell of a bigger budget than the original.
Yeah.
So they had some more things to play around with and really get the feel of everything right.
Yeah.
But they really just wanted to make John Wayne's movie again.
Yeah. And I actually did enjoy Jeff Bridges' interpretation, because I see it as an interpretation of the character.
Yeah, it's not a true, it's not a copy.
It's not a copy of John Wayne's performance.
Right.
It's his interpretation of how the character would be.
Yeah.
And I think he did a great job. I do like John Wayne's interpretation of this character, but I do like Jeff Bridges as well. And my favorite scene, guys, is the court scene. The court scene where he's being introduced, and I just love it because it shows how ridiculous lawyers were to these guys. They're dealing with a lot of people that are like mass murderers, killers.
Yeah.
God knows how many of these people killed out there that weren't even reported. And the Rooster Cogburn was a guy who went out and got these guys and brought them back. And
sometimes.
I think John Wayne, very rarely he brought him back alive, but he did bring him back. John Wayne's character of Rooster Cogburn actually said that lawyers came and screwed everything up.
Yeah.
Said way back before when I started, there was nobody coming out to defend these guys.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what that whole court scene is portraying how asinine that was to them and the Western law system.
Oh yeah, the difference between the East Coast versus the West Coast.
And I always enjoyed that, especially when he's the comment about and you had your gun loaded and cocked. Well, duh, it doesn't work unless it's loaded and cocked. Right. It's just that whole different mindset.
It's like, look, law enforcement doesn't think the way lawyers do, and lawyers are trying to get them on something. Bruce is sitting there like, what? I just did.
I did my job.
Yeah. What are you yelling at me for?
And then the other thing is that, I think it was the second time I'd watched this movie in a week when this thought actually popped in my head is, why the heck did LaBouffe want to kiss that 14-year-old girl? There's something wrong there. And then I was thinking, at that time, 14, they were a woman. So in that era,
I wouldn't go that far.
In that era, it might have been okay, but I don't know. I still don't think so.
Come on, look at John Smith and Pocahontas.
Spanks her.
Well, okay, obviously historically, I'm proven wrong on that point, but 69, it was an odd scene to write.
But I think in the Western mindset, if you're doing a Western, it's pushing it.
I can't speak to really what the motivation on that was.
It's in both of them.
Well, here's
in a different context of a scene. Matt Damon's was when she woke up and he was sitting there. The other one was in the dining area.
Right.
In the,
Which was
in
at
the,
least in a public place. You know what I mean? It wasn't.
yeah.
Here's my total guess in 1969. It was more tolerable storyline-wise that you could, like an older man could say, I was gonna kiss you to a 14-year-old girl. I am surprised that was in this movie. As sensitive as that issue is, I'm surprised it didn't get censored out. That was the one scene that surprised me.
It's sensitive in certain contexts, but, as far as movies...
I just want to know how comfortable Matt Damon was with that line. I'm teasing.
I thought it was hilarious when he called her ugly after. He's like, I thought of stealing a kiss.
Yeah.
You're ugly.
But I always liked her response to that question, and it's in both of them. Both of those proposals, spanking or you kissing me, are both unpleasant thoughts.
One is unpleasant as the next.
Yeah.
Greatest response ever in a movie for that.
Anyway, as far as the Maddie Ross character, I have to agree with you. The new one, oh gosh, I forget the girl's name. It's like Mila something or something. I forget. But she's a 14-year-old girl, too. I think she was born in 96 or something like that.
Freaks me out.
Isn't that so scary?
Yeah.
It's like... You're almost like old enough to drive. What's wrong here?
It's a Haley. Is it Haley Steinfeld?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, she did a great job for being as young as she is.
Fucking nailed that role.
She did. She really did, and she did a lot better job than the other girl. And John was mentioning that John Wayne had never met a worse actor than this girl.
It says in the IMDb notes, because I was looking up
quote.
I was looking up the information, and he originally wanted somebody Carpenter to play it, and apparently him and the chick who played Maddie Ross in the first one did not get along, because it was literally like, I have never seen a worse actress in my life type of quote.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, so much the fact that
I'll kind of agree. I mean, look, obviously it was film and you couldn't take as many takes as you can now, but those are the ones that they kept, and weren't exactly best. I mean, it was just a great written character.
She did a lot better than Glenn Campbell did in the first one.
True.
God, that's such a...
So, anyways, and I was never a fan of the LaBeouf character.
No, I thought it was kind of a useless
character. But I think
character.
Matt Damon did a lot better, even though it just was so awkward.
It was still an odd character.
It was just awkward.
I describe it as Woody. It was a very stiff character.
And I am a Matt Damon fan. Just not of that one.
Oh, sure.
Wait.
I love the scene between them when they're at the campfire, going back and forth between, Texas Ranger campfires only yay high, and,
No, I love Rounders. I thought Rounders was a
Oh,
great
that's
movie.
right. It's Ben Affleck you don't like.
Yo, yeah. Oh, God.
I forgot you don't like his partner.
Ugh.
Sorry. So...
Yeah, Ben Affleck cannot act without Matt Damon right there holding him and feeding him a bottle.
Hey, I've made the point before, or without Kevin Smith writing his dialogue.
So,
okay, I got one last point, and this one is, I really liked the remake quite a bit, but except for the howling of leaning on the everlasting arms at the end of the movie, I thought the ending in the remake was better than the hymn that they sang at the end of the remake.
Right.
That whoever sang that howled that.
I don't remember that
howled
part.
it. And then the other one where they actually sang Amazing Grace and went through a few of the lyrics, I did enjoy that. But
so I gave this movie.
Hold on. Are we?
Okay.
I just got to ask because sorry, folks, we didn't discuss this beforehand. Are we grading them together, or are we grading them separately?
We might as well grade them together. Well, I mean, yeah, let's grade them together. It's the same damn movie, pretty much.
Well,
I'll say this about it, though. Look, the first one, watching the first one, made me want to watch the new one.
Okay.
So here's the thing, because we're definitely going to have to do this in the future with the amount of remakes Hollywood's reproducing now.
Okay, I got a
Oh, sorry.
I actually figured out a better way of doing it. Okay, let's grade them together, and then say which one we prefer.
That'll work.
Yeah. Okay, that'll work. I guess I'll start off. I gave both of them actually a 3 to 5. I liked both of them. I thought they could have done a little more. Mainly, I just want to see that little girl shoot the buff. That's the one thing I wanted to see. I just wanted to see death by him, by her on him. Overall, I thought it was a 3 out of 5. It's a strong movie. I think it's cool that they did kind of a homage to one of the greatest, if not greatest, of all time Western actors.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys on my list for that, but he was definitely on the top.
Yeah.
So if for me it was a 3 out of 5. And as far as which one I like better, that's a hard mix. I have to admit I'm still a fan of the traditional Hollywood Western, like they did in this one. I'm gonna have to go with the original.
Okay.
I like the original better.
Oh, that's perfect. I'll step up to bat and let Ryan have the final say here.
That would put you on. Okay.
I give it a 3 out of 5. I give both of them a 3 out of 5. Honestly, I do enjoy these two together. I think it did exactly what it was out to do, and that's what gives it a 3 out of 5. But I would have to say that I actually prefer the remake over
Really?
the original, and that's a rare thing for me to do, is to say that the remake is more enjoyable than the original. Yeah, I just gotta say I do. I mean, there are some little points as to it, but I've already made those, and yeah,
I'm actually shocked by that.
I was too.
Heck, ladies and gentlemen, I'm guaranteed if you haven't watched all these episodes, knowing James as long as I have, I've never heard him actually utter those words in the same sentences. I like the remake better.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Generally, the remake was insert, explicit comment here.
Explicit or really bad.
Exploited, deleted, exploited.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm shocked by that because I've literally never heard him ever say that. Ryan, what about you?
I've never heard him say it either. No. I'm pretty much of the same mind of James on this one. I'm really partial to Jeff Bridges. I've been a huge fan ever since I saw Big Lebowski back in the day. That's one of my favorite comedies. I love the Coen brothers styles, choices that they always make. I love the way that they make a movie look. And the old one fit their tone level so well that I think it was really easy for them to do it, and I think it was made by a couple of fans, and it almost seemed like the people that were in the movie had never seen it before, just because the characters were so kind of fresh and not anything like trying to do what anybody else did before. It was this is our version of what I think this should be.
Which is definitely not easy.
I'm going to go definitely 3 out of 5 on both of them. I think it's definitely a fun movie. You know what I mean? One of those that I'll throw on every now and again.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been better westerns made, but I mean, it's just a damn fine film. So yeah, 3 out of 5, and I'll prefer the remake, which is
wow.
Yeah, that's a rare thing for you too. I thought you were going to side with John for a while there.
No, dude, I love John Wayne, and I'm gonna side with John on a couple of things too. Like I love the old spaghetti western kind of stuff. I mean, James and I have talked many a time about our love for Lee Van Cleef and some
Clint Eastwood,
Few Dollars More, and
Man with No Name, and
Well,
Rio Bravo. And...
Well, I'm thinking this is a semi-discussion for another episode, but because John Wayne is really pre-spaghetti western.
Yeah, he is.
Sure, yeah.
He's
He's
he's a studio.
Well, of course, I'll go into why they call them spaghetti westerns later when we get into this.
Because the Italians started hiring everybody.
I wasn't going to go there right now, but you know.
So kind of. So what about you? So you're on movie news, and then so do you?
Well, pretty much what I did this time is we're getting to the last few months of this year, and kind of figured that we should actually discuss movies that are coming out towards the end of this year that should be ones that we should keep our eyes out for.
Okay. Or
movies that are just kind of coming out that I'm like, yeah, see what you guys think, you know?
Check your local listings for the following films.
Okay, so the first one that I'm going to bring up is coming out September 6th, so that's
this
now.
Right now.
This one is titled VHS.
I've heard of this, and I don't know why.
And it's coming out from Russia, which is always a kind of curious little thing. And the premise of this is that a group of people are get hired by a third party to rob a house to steal a VHS tape. Now, basically, some shenanigans happen, and they see some crazy stuff on all these tapes in this house, and it turns out to be a horror movie. That's usually when I use the word shenanigans, in case you audience members haven't noticed.
I did. Yes, Mr. Preston in the front row.
Yeah. So
where did they find a VHS player?
Well, what they kind of say in the more in-depth thing is that they stumble over a bunch of broken and kind of TVs all throughout this house, find a body, and I'm assuming that there's a VHS player in the house.
Okay, so it doesn't take place in a long time ago.
And by the way, this also is in Russia. I'm sure they still have beta. Sorry, Russia, but I'm sure that you guys can find a beta player a lot easier than we can.
Hey, I think I have one somewhere around here.
Okay, September 14th.
It is old guy tech.
Resident Evil Retribution is coming out this month. Now, hold on. Wait, guys.
Supposed to be looking out for this, James?
Wait.
I'm going to start to question your...
Hold on for a second. Let me finish what I'm saying here. Now, the interesting thing for me...
This shit, John, I need to fire this man right here.
The interesting thing for me is that...
Definitely an intervention.
This movie already has an expected 7 out of 10 on IMDb.
There's expected ratings? I mean, like, as far as...
Well,
just, like,
if it's coming out this month, I've noticed that IMDb already has ratings up.
One word. Drive.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, too. I'm like, really? And how many Resident Evil movies have they come out with yet?
I think at least 6.
I have to say, I really like the first one. I actually own the first one.
Great, because everybody wanted to see the first one.
I actually like the first 2.
I'll give you the second one.
The first 2.
The rest just are this almost rip off of 80s classic action movies that just...
But the surprising thing for me is I had no idea this movie was coming out this month.
Oh, yeah.
No idea.
Nobody had the idea that it was coming out this month because everybody's sick to death of seeing Resident Evil movie.
I was shocked to find that, so I had to jot that one down.
Now, what's the name of this one? Resident Evil
Retribution.
Retribution.
From what I've read about it, it's about, I guess, every good guy that's died that comes back to kill Mila Djokovic. By the way, I never thought I'd be tired of Mila Djokovic, but I am.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Go back to being Lilu.
Okay, well, that sounds like a really, just really thick and in-depth, rich plot.
Actually, do you want to hear what I wrote down as the plot of this movie?
Please.
Sure.
Mila is back as Alice. What else you gotta say?
True story, right there. What about the other ones on your list?
All right, so all right. Now I kind of find this one interesting. Is coming out next month, October 19th. Paranormal Activity 4.
Those movies have been made so fast.
Wait, there's a second, third, and fourth. There's a second, third one?
The second one came out really quick. I think they tried to capitalize on what it did in the theaters originally.
Wow.
But look, the original one, I said this before, like, the original Paranormal Activity was combination pretty interesting story with unbelievable marketing.
Yeah.
Like, what they did with, like, this is true, and they didn't really leak anything really towards it, and then how they made the movie with, thanks to the San Diego PD, for allowing us the footage. There was no opening credits.
Yeah.
There was no final credits. It was a brilliant way that they marketed the movie.
So was this like
the second and third one, that it's all bullshit, and where's the thrill in it?
Well, the last one, hold on. And I kind of thought this one was kind of interesting, is they actually put out Paranormal Activity 4. It looks like in some of the snapshots that they had, they're going back to the first style, and on even IMDb, there is no plot released.
Okay.
So where is this on?
And this is coming out in like a month.
So what is this on the Blair Witch scale of marketing?
I mean, it was I thought it was equal, if not better. I mean,
wow.
Like, what people thought. Obviously, Blair Witch had it first, and they did it first, but. That being said, people know about the Blair Witch marketing sort of tactic, and then fell for it hook, line, and sinker for Paranormal Activity.
Yeah,
So I thought it was great. And then again with the way that they got no-name actors, they filmed it. Whoever did the cinematography, really had it down. Like as far as keeping the continuity of this is when the camera moved. There was no boom shots. There was no dolly shots. Everything was.
Is this shaky cam? I've never seen any of them.
No, they're actually pretty steady cams because they're like
the original. They changed the ending in the theaters to something kind of CGI, which was really shitty. The original ending for it was so subdued and so fucking possible, dude, that it really kind of creeped you out, even though you knew it was bullshit. It still kind of gave you that, damn, man, that's nutty.
Surprised they changed it then.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. I thought, I don't know, I think it had a little bit of success wherever it did, and then some studio got a hold of it and said, it needs this ending.
So, is any other ones on your list?
Yeah, I got a couple on my list. Daniel Craig is back.
It's the new
Bourne and Skyfall coming out November 9th. Yeah, November 9th.
And this is the third Bond he's been
in. And pretty much the plot on this one is this time he's going to be tested by M's past, type of thing.
I'm actually legitimately excited.
Like Daniel
I can't
Craig's
wait.
version of
We're all
Bond.
agreeing we were screwed over by Quantum of Solace, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But we're still kind of agreeing that we're totally
I'm a Daniel Craig fan. I also enjoy... Oh, I cannot think of his name right now, and I'm so mad. Brian, tell me what Bond I like the best.
Roger Moore.
Do you like
Thank you, Moore.
Timothy Dalton? Aren't you a Tim Dalton fan?
You're lucky you're in Pasadena.
Pasadena.
Hey, close enough.
So, and then December
was only in
14th, we've already discussed this one a couple times.
Which one?
But it's The Hobbit.
All three.
Is it actually officially 3 now?
They just... Oh, I wish I wrote it down, but they just recently said it's 3, and they gave the first, second, and third one, I guess, new titles. The second and third one, new titles.
Huh.
So it's officially a trilogy, so it's officially going to be word for word. Wow. So I'm assuming...
Are they adding anything, or are they just picking that whole story up?
From what I've heard, they've had so much footage that Peter Jackson was like, let's just do another movie.
Well, hell, when he came out with Lord of the Rings, it was, 14 to 20 hours on each movie of bonus footage?
Yeah.
And stuff?
So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring my copy of The Hobbit.
Yeah. Okay, December 14th also, we have also another one that, I've always enjoyed some plays that they've turned into movies. And, I mean... I'm kind of a fan of them, but it's a very select few. Like, I'm not really into, Sound of Music. I did kind of enjoy The King and I. No.
We both know he loved Lurs of Miserbob, or whatever it's called.
I like Phantom of the Opera and Fiddler, and Les Miserables is coming out.
Am I the only one that can say that?
I can't right now. I'm too tired.
Anyway. So I'm actually kind of interested in seeing this one. It's got Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, and Anne Hathaway.
But
I'm sorry, I missed this. What are they? What stage performance is being a movie?
Les Miserables.
For the second time.
Yeah.
They're remaking the Les Miserables?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's coming out December 14th. This is going to be directed by Tom Hopper, and he did The King's Speech. That's the really only thing that is, to his credit as far as the movie goes. I actually enjoyed The King's Speech.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you had seen it or not.
Recommended it to me, so
I haven't had a chance to see it
forever, and then I watched it, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. I've seen it twice. It's actually saying something for that type of movie. It's kind of a slower drama, but it was really well done.
So we're kind of running out of time here.
I got one last one, and this is going to be not the last of the year. It's Quentin Tarantino. Can anybody tell me what it is?
Django Unchained.
Yep, and that's the last one. So I'm just reminding you guys about, The Hobbit. And
Are we going to meet in Fresno again and go watch that flick?
We probably should.
I'm down with that.
Let's do it.
There is one sad thing I wanted to say, is to give my condolences to Michael Clark Duncan's family.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
he was an actor I've always enjoyed.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I remember, actually, I think as somewhat of an adult, film goer, one of the first dudes to ever kind of make me ball up and cry, you know what I'm saying, in a movie with Green Mile, dude.
I was going to say, it better have been Green Mile.
So bloody good.
I have to have it. I have to be honest. I haven't seen the Green Mile. I've been saving it for the show.
Really?
I've been saving it. But I always liked Michael Clark Duncan, even in the Affleck movie that won't be mentioned. So I just wanted to give.
Yeah, we want to send our condolences.
I just want to give my condolences. Just such a shame to a great actor. Hollywood lost, another one who, had great potential to do many movies for.
Too young, nicest guy. Everybody loved everything that he was ever in.
Even though I think most people confuse him with Big Rhymes.
Well, no, dude. I think ABC or some network television place. I don't know if this was local or if it was national, but they confused. They put up Michael Clark Duncan, passed away at the bottom of the screen, and then in the corner they had Terry Crews, which is basically just another muscular black guy. You might remember him from the Expendables. He was
Are you serious?
Wow.
They put his picture in the corner. You know, so I'm sure his family might have saw that, freaked out, or somebody, you know.
Oh man!
So, like,
people with their false information. See, everybody has to be the first one to break the news now, so they step on each other's toes and give false information. Yeah.
So, you know, like I said, Real Flix Reviews gives our condolences and goodbye to a great actor.
Yeah.
And to round everything else out, I gave True Grit, both versions, a 3 out of 5. James gave both your versions a 3 out of 5, and Ryan gave it a 3 out of 5. And I'll stick to the original. James and Ryan both did the same thing and said, go for the remake. And next week, we're doing the Bourne Legacy.
Yep.
So that's in the theater. So, ladies and gentlemen, rush out the theaters if you haven't already seen it so you can catch up for this next week's show. And see you next week.
Hi, I'm Rob Charney, Old Guy Tech TV, and I'm here to talk to you today about Windfall. Windfall is your local paper for classified ads, for what's happening in El Dorado County, for just about anything that has to do with El Dorado County. And they've got some great specials going on right now. As a matter of fact, they have a business special that is stated so that it's a 12-week business text ad for only $60. You can't hardly buy anything for $60, let alone a 12-week ad. Now, of course, you can always add to that or shorten it, whatever you think you want to do. They'll work with you 100%. They'll put the artwork together for you. They'll put the layout together for you. All you need to do is get a hold of them, and they'll take care of all the work for you. And trust me, it works. And we've been with the Windfall for a long time, and it's a great relationship between Old Guy Tech TV and News 44 TV and the Windfall. And we want to make sure that you get to take the same kind of advantage. The paper's incredible. I really highly suggest that you go ahead and you pick up a copy of just about anywhere. They're everywhere, any restaurant or in front of the drugstores and many other stores. You'll find the Windfall there, and it's a great deal. And let me tell you a little bit about Rob and Tina. They've worked very hard to make this newspaper something that they're very proud of. They've done it through the School of Hard Knocks. They're incredible people. They work really hard for you. They want to share their experiences for you. And I can't think of a better two people to really take advantage of this and make sure that you get your ad into their paper, because we sure like it. And I know a lot of others out there who like it as well. And one of the things is they decided that they wanted to move to a larger facility. They were cramped. If you ever saw their old office, there's barely any room for people to move. So they had an opportunity to move to a new location, still in Diamond Springs, and they have a open house. And that open house is September 26th, starting at 5 p.m. over here in Diamond Springs. And you know what? If you can come on by and just say hello, that would be great. Take advantage of some of the food and the music and the cars and some of the other stuff that's out there, and really enjoy yourself and have a great time. So I'm looking forward to it. Old Guy Tech TV will be there. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk to you. If you've got a business or you have a message you want to get out, you come and see us. We'll make sure that gets done. So don't forget, shop the Windfall. Everybody needs a windfall.